welcome back to Live Your Dream, It's About You. And isn't that a great song, We Are Alive by Eric Tyler? So check him out on Facebook and otherwise to pick up his CD. Okay, I am so excited this morning to introduce to you Penny Campriello. Hi, Penny. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be here.
I'm very honored that you are here on the show. And I know the name of your business is Toxic Free Journey.
It is.
And what a powerful name. Could you tell us about the name or your business, your background, whatever you'd like to start with?
Okay, thanks. My background is I've been a nurse for the last 37 years.
Wow.
And until about 3 years ago, I really was very unaware of all of the toxins in our home environments. My passion was always for taking care of premature babies. And about 20 years ago, I developed allergies myself to different chemicals that were in all the soaps that we used in the hospital. And I had to have a job change. And over the years, I've always had problems with different products that I've used, but I always kind of thought that it was my fault, that there was something that I was doing, that I was developing these allergies. And then about 3 years ago, I was looking for some products for my granddaughter, and I started to get educated on what is actually in the products that we're using in our homes, and I was shocked. So I started making some changes myself, and we got our flyby.
Sorry.
I started making some changes myself, and through a company that I was actually promoting some products for a company, and I got really very well educated by them. Unfortunately, that company dissolved, but my passion and my mission for sharing what I had learned with other people just stayed with me, and that's where Toxic Free Journey was born. What I realized was that my toxic free journey had actually started about 20 years ago when I started making changes in my lifestyle. And I realized that we were all exposed to different toxins in our environment, either physically, emotionally, environmentally, and we needed to have all of those in alignment to have good health. Working in the hospital, I see so many people who come in looking for a quick fix from the doctor, and unfortunately, the physicians don't often have a lot of time to be able to spend with patients actually looking at their lifestyle and what is actually going on. And a lot of the toxic things that we're exposed to in our homes are actually affecting our health. Products that we're using, the foods that we're eating, and just things that we're exposed to.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So in terms of, okay, you were saying that there are toxins in the home, and so how are they affecting us then?
Different things that we use in the home can affect us in different ways. So a lot of people suffer from allergies. A lot of people suffer from constant lethargy. They're constantly tired. They're just not quite sure. They feel like they're eating right. They feel like they're exercising, but they just don't feel as though they're making headway. And a lot of the products that we're using in the home environment have chemicals in them that are like endocrine disruptors, which actually affect the thyroid function and affect our, that's the word I'm thinking about, our metabolism and our energy levels. And so that's why if we don't address everything that's in the home environment, I firmly believe that you're only as healthy as your home. So if you're not taking a look at everything that's going on in the home, then you're missing the boat. People don't like to talk about products and chemicals in the home environment because it's something that they can't necessarily see. After you've cleaned your home, if you've used an industrial chemical, you can smell it. But they don't see the harm that it's actually doing to the body.
Okay, and so I understand that there's a term called greenwashing. What does that mean?
Yeah, greenwashing is something that manufacturers do that make us think that products that they are selling in the stores are actually safe. And they use words like natural, they use green, they use environmentally friendly. And a lot of the times those terms are, because there's no legislation or there's no government monitoring over how manufacturers advertise their products, there's actually a lot of chemicals in those products.
Wow.
But people see, you see a commercial on the television and you'll see the wind and the breeze and you'll see the towels blowing on the line, and they're actually advertising a fabric softener. But unfortunately, the fabric softener is full of chemicals and fragrances that can be neurotoxic, can be affecting the developmental system of small children. So it's called greenwashing when when manufacturers use those things to sell a product and mask what's really in the product.
Oh, I see. Okay. And so how do you help people with this?
What I do is, my passion is to raise awareness, and there's little pockets all over the United States where people are becoming more aware, and I want to raise awareness here in Fresno. So what I do is I do either one-on-one home evaluations for people, so I can come into your home, I can evaluate the environment and let you know things that may be causing problems and how we can change those. I also do webinars. I do a Toxic Free Tuesday, which is a webinar that I do on a Tuesday evening. And my current webinar, the one that we'll be showing tomorrow night, is actually called Moms to Be Should Be Toxic Free. And what that is doing is addressing pregnant moms, moms to be, grandmas. It's really giving you all the information that you need so that you can remove those toxins from the environment. All of those things cross over the placenta into the developing baby.
Oh, wow.
And so it used to be thought that the placenta was a barrier for a lot of these things that are in our environment, but unfortunately we're finding out now that it's not.
Wow, that's scary.
Studies that were done several years ago showed that the average baby today is born with over 200 chemicals already in its system.
Oh,
and it's really scary because those are things that affect the brain function and the reproductive system in infants at the time when everything is developing.
Wow.
So what I do on my webinar is just, it's not a scare factor, it's just simple ways that people can make small changes that will make a big difference in the long run for babies.
And you said that's tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night, I have a free webinar, and there's a link to that on my website.
And what is your website?
My website is toxicfreejourney.com. And actually, on the first page on there, there's a link that you can click on, and it will actually give you a link to the webinar. So you just put in your email address, and it will send out a link so that you can join us on the webinar tomorrow night.
And then what time?
7 o'clock, and it'll be about 30 minutes long, 20 or 30 minutes. Depends on how many questions that we have, and I always encourage people to bring questions.
And then in terms of getting a hold of you, is the website the best way, or do you want them to call you?
The website is actually the best way, or email.
Okay.
There is a contact link on my website, but also emailing is a really good way, and that is penny@toxicfreejourney.com. And I can get back to you right away. I get a lot of people who email me with questions, and I find that that's a really good way to contact me, because I am still a nurse, so I can't always get back to people right away by the phone, but email I can usually respond to.
Well, that's great.
Thank
so
you.
It sounds like you're living your dream.
I didn't realize it was a dream until I became aware. It's one of those things, Letty, that once you become aware of something, you can't become unaware of it. And once I started making changes in my home, I didn't realize immediately the effect that it was having on me until it was several months later, and I realized that even walking into the grocery store and going down the aisle that sells all of the fabric softeners and the laundry detergent, how obnoxious that actually smelled. You don't realize how desensitized you become to the chemicals in your environment until you remove them from your environment. And then you realize, wow, those things give me a headache, or, those things cause my skin to break out. And so being able to find solutions for people is, it is. I'm just really passionate about doing that.
That's great.
Thank you.
Well, we're so lucky to have you out there looking out for our interests.
Yeah, I would love to see a toxic-free Fresno. I just want to see everybody in Fresno, cleaning up their homes and getting our kids healthy.
Oh, and Visalia too, since I live in
I'm
Visalia.
Visalia, yeah. There's also a link on my website which you can join. I do 21 days of toxic-free tips, and it's an email a day. And it's real easy. It just shoots out an email to you every day, and it's one simple change that you can make in the home environment, which can make a huge difference. So, and I'll give you an example. Some of them are as simple as taking off your shoes when you come in the door. You don't realize the pesticides and the chemicals that you're bringing in on your shoes into your home. Those things get transferred to the floor. People with families have young babies and children that are crawling around on that. It gets on their hands, into their mouths, and they're ingesting toxins from outside into the house. So that's just one of the tips that I give that you can make a difference.
That is a really good point, because whenever people would say take your shoes off, I always thought maybe they didn't want their carpet to get messed up.
Exactly.
But it goes beyond that.
It's way beyond that, yeah. And then people don't realize that substances that they're using to clean their counters have chemicals in them. And unless you actually clean that and then wash it off, the residue of those chemicals are left on the counter. Oh, wow. And then you prepare your food on there, and then you're getting the chemicals into your body. So it's not that chemicals, there's really no place for industrial chemicals in the home. It's absolutely unnecessary. We're really not that dirty that we need to use industrial chemicals in the house.
Wow. That's got me thinking about my kitchen. All the things I use to clean off the counter.
We need to talk.
Yeah, I think we do. Well, was there any last minute tip or anything you wanted to add that we didn't cover?
No, I don't think so. I just want to encourage people to check out my website. And please email me if you have any questions. I am always, I want to share. I have so much information that I want to share with people. And it is my passion to help people live healthier lifestyles. I don't want to continually see people in the doctor's office looking for a solution to a problem that is a lifestyle problem. And it's really so easy, some of the changes. We have, people are focused so much nowadays on diet and exercise, and removing toxins from the environment is just as important, because that all affects the immune system. So just cleaning up your diet and exercising is not enough. You have to look at everything else. It's got to be a whole holistic view of wellness.
That makes sense. It's the balanced effect. Everything affects
Absolutely.
Everything else.
Yeah. Removing stress, stressful relationships, everything that affects the immune system.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So, we're so lucky to have you, because you've got it all covered. You've got the covered if people need help, like you said, in the doctor's office when they have a problem, and you can help them alleviate problems before it gets to that point in terms of environment and things like that. Right.
There's a lot of things that can be fixed actually before it gets so bad that by the time you hit the doctor's office, that usually it's a little late. Yeah. Unfortunately.
Right.
Things can be fixed before you actually get there. So yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I'm very honored to have you on the show.
Thank you.
And to share your knowledge and your generosity, and just you're a great person all the way around.
Thank you, Letty, for inviting me. I'm really glad to be here. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
So we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we'll have our next guest. Now remember, live your dream. It's about you.